So hello everyone. So yesterday I have discussed about the design steps for the beam, right? The following points I have discussed yesterday, that means the previous classes, and so today I will solve a problem. I have already told that definitely we need to solve a problem, then only it will be clear, right? So this is the problem. Just go through that. Design a simply supported beam having width of 300 millimeter and clear span of 6 meter, carrying an imposed load of 10 kilonewton per meter. Now the grade of concrete is M20 and the grade of steel is Fe415, and the support width is 250 millimeter. Okay, so let's draw the problem over here. As you see, this is inclined. Okay, now so the support width, how much? That is 250 mm. The clear span is 6 meter, and the any one other data, that is the width is 300 mm. That means in this direction that is 300 mm, right? Now so let's start the problem with the steps. So the first one, we need to determine the effective span as per clause number 22.2 IS 456/2000. So as per clause, it says that the effective span will be minimum of two values. The first one is L plus small d, and second one is center to center distance between the support width. So what is the center to center distance between the support width? This one, from here to here. This is the center to center distance between the support width, right? And the L plus D is nothing but 6 plus the effective depth. Effective depth means if you make a section over here, you will get a diagram like this, right? And this one is D. Now initially we don't know the value of D, so we will consider only L. So the first one, it will be 6000, and center to center distance will be 6000 plus 2 into 250 by 2. Okay, because the support width is 250, so in both sides we will add half width, so it will be 6250 mm. So as per the clause number 1, we need to consider the minimum of these two values. So which one is minimum? This one is minimum till now. So we will consider this 6000 mm as a effective span. Okay, so point 1 we get here 6000 mm. Now the effective depth, or you can say that the check for the deflection. Now here we need to consider 23.2.1, clause number 23.2.1 in IS 456/2000. Okay, so here we need to consider the L by D ratio. Now I need to show you in code. Look, the effective span is calculated as per this, because it is a simply supported one. So for simply supported case, it is either clear span plus the effective depth of the slab or beam, and the second one is center to center distance that we have calculated. Okay, now the second one, that is check for the deflection. Yes, this is the vertical deflection limits which is assumed, and this is spans up to 10 meter. Now our span is 6 meter, so that is within that range. So that is why, and it is simply supported, so the maximum value that can be taken, that is 20. So okay, So we will take a value which is less than 20. Now I consider 12. Okay, you can consider 15, 16 according to you, but I consider here 12. Okay, now that means L by, I am just writing here, L by D equals to 20, sorry, not 20, 12. Now multiplied with the modification factor. Now this modification factor I will show you. Look here, this modification factor comes from here. This is stress of steel for tension reinforcement. Now for beam I consider the percentage of steel is 1%. Okay, I have told yesterday in the last class, percentage of steel 1%. So if you have the percentage of steel, you need to determine a modification factor from figure 4 in IS 456 2000. Okay, so let's jump to the figure 4. Yes, so this is the figure 4 and this is the modification factor. Okay, now to determine this modification factor I need to calculate this Fs value also. So let's determine the Fs. Fs is equal to 0.58 Fy into AST required by AST provided. AST required by AST provided. Now initially I consider that AST required equals to AST provided, because I don't have the value of this AST required and AST provided till now. So we consider these two are same, that means we get this particular portion tends to 1. So ultimately what we get, 0.58 into Fy. Fy is as per our problem it is 415, right? So 415. So the result will be 240.7. 240.7. So the unit is megapascal or Newton per millimeter square. Okay, and this Fs is the stress of steel of service loads. Okay, this Fs is steel stress of service loads in Newton per millimeter square. Now I consider the percentage of steel, how much? 1%. I also determine the value of Fs, that is 240.7. Now Fs we consider the curve, so I will consider this curve. Okay, I will consider this particular curve, because this curve is in this curve the value of Fs is 240, so it is near about that, and percentage of steel is 1%. So in x axis you can see this is 0.8, here it is 1, right? So the intersection point is here, this is the intersection point, and if you check the modification factor here, that is 1, right, 1.0. So that is why we take the modification factor 1. I hope you can understand how to take the modification factor from here. Now we put this modification factor over here. Okay, so ultimately we got the value 12. And what is L? L is the minimum, the effective length, the effective span, that is 6000 by D. Now from here I got the value D, that is 6000 by 12, so it is 500 mm, right? Now I got this value D, so D equals to 500 mm. Now I go back to the initial step, that is step number 1. In step number 1 I determine it is 6000 and 6250. Now then I don't know this value of D, right? Then I don't know this value of D, but now I got the value of D. So now if I write first point, that is minimum of L plus D and center to center distance, right? So L plus D equals to, that means 6000 plus 500, and here it is 6250. So it is 6500 and it is 6250. So whichever is less, this one is less. So now I will consider this particular length as the effective span. Okay, so this is the updated effective span that we need to consider in our design. Now let's determine the overall depth. Okay, so point number 3, the overall depth. So the overall depth will be, if I this is the overall depth. Now if I know this value, that is small d, now if I zoom this particular portion, if I draw over here, so up to this portion it is d, right? But I need to add half dia of the main reinforcement and the clear cover, right? Now this half dia, I considered this the diameter of the reinforcement is 16 pi. Okay, that means the 16 mm, and the clear cover I considered that is 25 mm. Okay, so that means the total diameter will be the total depth will be 500 plus the half dia. This half dia is 16 by 2 plus the clear cover, that is 25. Okay, so ultimately I got 533. Now the value is 533 mm. So it is looking odd, because at the time of construction, if you make it like 550 mm, so it will be easier to make it executed, right? So that is why we considering the value 550 mm. Okay, and it is also safe. Now if we consider the capital D 550 mm, so what will be the value of the small d? What will be the value of small d? That is d minus, d means this 550 minus same 16 by 2 minus 25, and if you put the value of d 550, you will get the d is 517 mm. So this is the effective depth we are going to consider in the next stage. Okay, so now we are going to write the size of the beam. So the size of let me remove this. Okay, so the size of the beam, what is the final size of the beam that we got? It is 300, it is already given, and the overall depth that we got, that is 550, right? Now the load calculation. So the load calculation, it is also very easy. So to calculate the load, what you need to do is, you need to determine the cross sectional area and you need to multiply it with the unit weight of RCC. Okay, so what is the cross sectional area? That is if you make it in meter square, that is 0.55 into 0.3 into 25. Okay, now yeah, we are making it per meter, so we are determining the load in per meter basis. So that will be whatever we get, that will be in kilonewton per meter. Okay, so the value that we got after multiplying, that is 4.125 kilonewton per meter. The plastering, for plastering we are considering it is as 1 kilonewton per meter, and the imposed load, that is the live load, is already given, that is 10 kilonewton per meter. Now the total load total load becomes 10 plus 1 plus 4.125, that means it is 15.125. kilonewton per meter, and the factor load will be multiplied with a 1.5, right, into the total load, that means 15.125. so ultimately the factor load will be 22.6875 kilonewton per meter. So this is the final load calculation. In this way you can calculate the load. Now we are moving on to the check for the effective depth. Okay, this is a very important thing. So let's remove this. So just write down the updated value. So it is 6250 mm, right, the effective span. The effective depth that we get, that is 517. The overall depth, that is 550. The size of the beam we calculated. The load calculation, the load we get, that is 22.6875. this is a factor load. Now we are coming to the check for the effective depth. So to check for the effective depth, what you need to do, you need to go to code and annexure G and IS 456-2000, okay, and there you can have the formula of mu limit, okay. So I am showing that if you go to annexure G, here it is. This is the mu limit. Here you can see the formula 0.36 xu max by d in bracket 1 minus 0.42 xu max by d to bd square fck. You just need to write that formula over here, okay. So yeah, after that you need to put the values over here to determine the mu limit. After that you put the values of each terms to determine the mu limit. So 0.36 fck is 20, b is, how much is b? B, that is 300, D is 517 square, xu max by D for Fe 415, that is 0.48, told yesterday last class, 1 minus 0.42 into 0.48. So if you solve this, you will get the value of mu limit, that is 221.31 kilonewton meter. Okay, this is the value of mu limit, and as this is a simply supported, and the load which is coming over, the ultimate load, that is 22.6875 kilonewton per meter uniform load, and this is simply supported. So what is the maximum moment? That is W L square by 8, right? So W is 22.6875, L square, what is the value L? That is 6.250. Please make sure the units are correctly put it, okay, because whatever the ultimately after solution of this you will get the unit that is in Newton millimeter, okay. So you need to multiply with the 10 to the power minus 6 and then only will get the unit in kilonewton per meter, okay. So make sure that, and this is WL square by 8. So here all the values are directly given in meters and kilonewton. So that is why the value that we get one 110.778 110.778 kilonewton meter. So the limit, the mu limiting value, the limiting value is greater than the value which is the maximum moment. So that is why it is safe, right? So in this way you need to check this. Now if it fails, so you need to change the dimensions, okay. So this is the one process, or you can say one method to determine whether it is safe or not, or you can say it is under reinforced. Now second method is, this is process 1. Now to check the effective depth, another way, that is I am also showing. The second method is very simple. Look, you know the XU max by D is 0.48, right? And you know the value of D, that is 517. So if you put the value, you can get the XU max value, right? Now if you need to determine the actual depth of neutral axis, that means XU. So how can you determine? Very simple. You know the moment which is coming, that is that I have removed, that is near about WL square by 8, and that is around 110.778, right? So this moment, if you need to determine the actual depth of neutral axis using this moment, you just use this formula, 110.778 0.36 FCK B XU into D minus 0.42 XU. If you use this formula, you will get the actual depth of neutral axis. Now if this XU, I am telling the value of the XU which you get, that is 108.734. you please also verify, this is XU, and the max XU max value, that is 248.16 mm. So definitely what you get, that XU is less than XU max. So yeah, it is safe and it is under reinforced. So this is the second method to calculate for the checking of the effective depth, okay. Now you need to determine the area of steel. So let's remove all this. Now this is very much important to determine the area of steel. So for that we need to go for annexure G, same. So this is the formula you need to consider, that is mu is equal to 0.87 Fy AST D into 1 minus AST Fy by BD into FCK, okay. So let's put this one. Okay, now we just need to put the values over here to determine the value of AST. So what is the value of mu? That is same as WL square by 8, and that is equals to 0.87. Fy is 415 look here, this is 415. AST, I need to determine this. D is 517. 1 minus AST, AST I need to determine. FY 415. B is 300. D is 517, and FCK it is 20, right? 20. So I have put all the values. Now WL square by 8, it is, the value will be 110.778, that is in kilonewton meter. So you need to multiply with 10 to the power 6. Okay. So in this way you will get the value of AST, and that will be 649.48. 649.48 millimeter square. So this is the AST value for the area of steel that you are going to determine in step number 7. Okay. Now after that we need to check for the minimum tensile reinforcement. So for that we need to consider the clause number 26.5.1.1. okay. So if you go there, and there will be a formula, that is AST by BD is equal to 0.85 by Fy. Okay. So AST equals to 0.85 into B. What is the value of B? That is 300 into D, that is 517, and Fy is 415. So that the value will be 317.67. So this is the minimum tensile reinforcement, but we provided the reinforcement, that is 649.48. So definitely it is safe, because this is the minimum one. Now if this value is less than this 317, then we need to consider this minimum value. Okay. So our value of AST, it is correct. So this is the minimum one. Okay. So let's write it down, that is 649.48, right? So this is 649.48 millimeter square, that is the area of steel. I am removing this. Now the shear check. Okay, very interesting. So shear check, that is in 40.1 IS 456 2000. Okay. So shear check, let's go there, and 40.1, yeah, this is 40.1, and here you can see this is the nominal shear stress tau v. It is given, the formula is Vu by Bd. So let's write tau v is equal to Vu by Bd, right? And so what is the value of Vu? Vu is equal to nothing but WL by 2, and it will be near about 70.89. You know the value of W, that is 22.6875, and L is here 6250. So you get the value 70.89. So you just put the Vu over here, and B is 300 and D is 517. So ultimately the value of tau v will be 0.45. Okay, 0.45. Now we need to determine the tau c, and it will be coming from table number 19. Okay, so let's go to table 19. Yeah, so this is the table 19. So for M20, so our grade is 20, right? M20, right? So this is M20, and what else? The AST, the percentage of steel. So in our case, what is the value of the percentage of steel? Look, our value of AST that we get, that is 649.48 millimeter square. That is the AST required, right? Now we have not determined the AST provided, so we need to determine the AST provided, right? So we are providing 16 mm dia. We are providing 16 mm dia bars. So if you provide 3 numbers of 16 mm dia bars, the area will be around 603 mm square, but it is less than this, so we need to provide 4 number 16 mm dia bars, and the result will be near about 804 mm square. Okay, so our AST provided it 804 mm square. So this is the area provided, that means the AST provided, and the AST required, that is 649.48. okay, so this is very much important. So we are providing 4 number 16 mm dia, that is 804 millimeter square. Now important thing is that we need to determine the percentage of steel, that is PT. So the formula is AST by BD into 100. So what is the value of AST? That is 804 that we are providing, and B is how much? B is 300, D is 517 into 100. So what is the value? That is in percentage, that is 0.518, 0.518 percentage. Okay, now we need to determine the value of tau C from table 19, and here I need this particular value. Okay, so let's go there, and this is M20 grade concrete, so we are considering this particular portion. Now the percentage of steel is near about this, na, 0.50. so you can make the interpolation and you get the exact value, but I am right now considering the value of 0.50, that is 0.48. so the tau C value will be 0.48. so the tau C that we get from table 19, that is 0.48. okay, so in our case tau C is greater than tau V, and if this condition satisfied, then we don't need to provide the shear reinforcement. So if this condition satisfied, we don't need to provide the shear reinforcement. Okay, but yeah, definitely if we don't need to put, but we need to provide the minimum shear reinforcement, that is given in 26.5.1.6. the minimum shear reinforcement we need to provide. So what is the formula to determine the minimum shear reinforcement? That is ASB by B into SV is greater equals to 0.4 by 0.87 Fy. Okay, okay, I am definitely showing you this formula in where it is present in code. So 26.5.1.6, right? Yes. So this is the formula 26.5.1.6. So ASB by B into ASB is greater than equals to 0.4 by 0.87 Fy, right? So I have written the same thing over here. So this is the cross sectional area of the stirrup. So I am providing here 2-leg stirrup of 8 mm diameter. So what will be the value of ASB? That is 2 into pi by 4 into 8a square. That is the value of ASB. Okay. Now what is the value of B? That is 300. You already know, here it is already given in the question. SB, that is the spacing actually. Okay. So this spacing I need to determine. Now 0.4 it is okay, 0.87, and Fy it is 415. So if you solve all these things, you will get the value of SB. So ultimately the SB that we get, that is the SB value that we get, that is 30. If you solve that equation, you will get the SB value 303 mm. Okay, but for the shear reinforcement, the maximum spacing which is given in the code as per 26.5.1.5, let's see. Yes, so the maximum spacing for the shear reinforcement is given. So it shall not exceed the 0.75 D for the vertical stirrups, and D is the inclined stirrup at 45 degree, where D is the effective depth of the section under consideration. In no case shall be spacing exceed 300 mm. Okay, so what does it mean? So we need to consider minimum of either 0.75 D or 300, because our value of SB exceeds the 300 limit, right? So that is why we need to determine what is the value of 0.75 D and 300. So 0.75 D means 0.75 into 517, and that is 387. So it is greater than 300, so we will consider the 300. Okay, so the answer, that means the shear reinforcement that we need to provide it, that will be 2-leg 8 mm bar at the rate 300 center to center. Okay, so this is the shear reinforcement that we got. Now finally we need to determine, we need to check for it the deflection. Okay, so how to check for the deflection? So it is same as the step number 2, that is the 23.2.1, where we have determined the L by D ratio, right? So for that we have determined L by D equals to modification factor into 12, right? Now to determine this modification factor, we consider the figure number 4 in IS code, and there is a concept of FS, right? So let's see that. Yes, so this one, this diagram, from this figure we have determined the value of Fs, right? Now here you can see we have considered AST required equals to AST provided initially, right? But now I have the value of AST required and AST provided, right? I have the value of AST required as well as the AST provided. Now what is the value of AST required? The AST required is 649.48 and AST provided is 804. So I just assume it's 650 round off, and this is 804. Now if you put this value in this particular equation, you will get the value of Fs. You will get the value of Fs, that is 194.6. 194.6. Now you just think that initially we considered this particular curve, but now I need to consider near to this curve, right? This is because here the Fs value is equals to 190, that means the steel stress of service loads in Newton per millimeter square, that is Fs. So I need to consider this particular curve right now, right? Now the percentage of steel is also changed, because initially I considered this is 1%, but now our percentage of steel here it is 0.518%, right? So yes, so our percentage of steel lies in this particular point, because this is 0.4, this is 0.5, this is 0.6 in this position. So this is 0.518, near about this, right? So let's see where is the intersection point. So if you make a straight line in this particular zone, so it will lie in this particular point, right? And corresponding modification factor of that point is, this is 1.2, this is 1.4. So this is near about in between 1.4 and 1.6. So I consider this as 1.5. Okay, so this is the modification factor. So let's put this value over here. So this is the modification factor here. Right now it is 1.5. So I hope you understand how I take the updated value, that is 1.5, right? So let's solve this, and what is the value of L by D? That is 12 into 1.5, and that is 18, right? So this is the maximum value, or you can say the limiting value, because if the L by D value, that whatever we design, if that exceeds this 18 limit, that means it will be a failure, right? Because the structure will be unstable and will be collapse. So definitely the L by D provided, I need to check that the L by D provided, it must be less than this value, okay, or we need to redesign the total thing. So what is our L that we provided? That is 6250, and the D that we have provided, that is 517. So it should be less than 18. So this is the final one. So let's solve it in front of you. So 6250 divided by 517. Yes, so this is, you can see, 12.0889. So yeah, this is 12.0889, which is less than this 18, right? So that means our design is successful and it is safe. So in this way we can design the any beam, and yeah, in this case this is simply supported, but yeah, if the support condition changed, we need to consider the code as per their direction. We need to solve that. Okay, so thank you all.